Yeah, I worry a lot. I worry about the future. I even worry about the past. But I think I have found a cure for my worry problem. Let's get into it. All right. If you've watched any of my videos on this channel, you know that I worry a lot. I'm in this constant state of, anxiety about the future. I'm constantly doubting, my own abilities, and yeah, it's not good. Not good to say the least. But I think again, I have found an answer in this book here. This is a book by Dale Carnegie. It's called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And this was published, I think, back in the 40s, I think? Yeah, 1944. But the things in here are still relevant today, in 2019, especially for me. Again, I'm always, worried about things. I always have this kind of negative attitude, these negative thoughts. I'm always, and just recently, I'm worried about, am I going to be able to, perform the work for this agency that they want? Am I going to be able to get the results that they want? I turned in a report for, all the work I've done the last 2 weeks. And I got to tell you, I was really nervous about it, and I got an email back saying, hey, great job, thank you so much, exclamation point. So I was worried about that, for nothing really. I'm worried about, am I ever going to see Jennifer again? Will she ever want to talk to me? Why does she hate me so much? And that's something that's on my mind. And you guys know, just a couple days ago, Monday, I think, I had a really bad day. It was, a terrible, terrible day. And it was all for me, worrying about the future and being anxious and all that. And I know there's no need for me to be that way, because there's nothing I can do about, really, the future's going to come. I can't worry about that and not do the work I need to do today. So I had this book for a while, a couple months. I got it from the Goodwill, for $1.99 or something like that. But I haven't read it. And I was wandering through the library yesterday, and I saw a copy of it on the shelf, and I thought, yeah, I got that book. So I started, just flipping through it, and I found one thing that stuck out to me, and so I can find it here. This is from a chapter entitled 8 Words That Can Transform Your Life. So this is from a quote from Marcus Aurelius. It says, our life is what our thoughts make it. And that kind of hit me, I thought, yeah, I've been having these negative thoughts, and I've had negative results. My life has been, just full of anxiety and depression and all that other stuff. Especially with this, with this breakup, and then starting this whole new gig with this agency. I'm really doubting myself and doubting my abilities. And having read that, it made a lot of sense to me. Even my therapist is like, dude, you got to knock this, this negative thinking you have. You're constantly looking at the worst case scenario. And then I decided to start actually reading the whole thing. And there's a chapter called The Formula for Solving Worry Situations. And step 1, this guy is telling his story, right? So step 1, I analyzed the situation fearlessly and honestly, and figured out what was the worst that could possibly happen as a result of this failure, right? So what's the worst that could happen? So for me, the worst that could happen with this agency is that they say, you know what, your work isn't good enough, or we don't need you anymore, so we're gonna terminate our contract. Okay, I can deal with that. Step 2, after figuring out what was the worst that could possibly happen, I reconciled myself to accepting it if necessary. So if I do get fired from this agency and I'm basically back to square one, okay, I can deal with that, because I've got some experience now. I've got the software I need to actually run this agency, so at least I have that, right? So if they do fire me, I can accept it. And then step 3, From that time on, I calmly devoted my time and energy to try to improve upon the worst which I already accepted mentally. So let's say they do, fire me and I'm back to square one. All right, I can get my own clients. I can keep going. So, that took a lot of worry off me yesterday, because I was, like I said, doubting my ability, doubting my, my skills, and really doubting my worth. So I read that last night, and right before I went to bed, and I started thinking about, what's the worst case scenario? Let me accept it. Let me, build upon it and make it better. And I slept pretty well last night. It really worked. So I think that that little formula, three-step formula, could help a lot of people. Especially someone like me who's constantly looking at the worst. Expecting the worst, really. And I feel a lot better today. I feel a little calmer. I'm still a little worried about it, but I handed in my work for the last 2 weeks. I sent it in this morning. I got that email back saying, hey, good job. Thanks a lot for the work. So I was doubting myself for nothing. But like I said, if the worst happens, I'll be okay. So that's all I got for today. Hopefully this little three-step formula can help you guys out. Like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.